It's Culture Hang. It's your girls. It's Hannah.
It's Holly.
And we're back with another episode of the freshest pop culture details. And we're going to dive into some past and present pop culture phenomena.
We've got drama.
Yep.
We've got fallout. We've got scandal.
We've got everything.
We've got everything.
So give us a listen.
Settle in.
Like and subscribe.
Yes, you can do that now. Please do.
Yeah, do it.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying thank you to everybody who has listened or followed us on Instagram, and even my 56-year-old father who inadvertently listened to it and has made our age rating look more diverse than it is.
I saw that. And I thought it was I thought it was your mum, not gonna lie. And then, also, my brother has also upped the age range by making it between, like, the 23 and whatever age range that is. But I don't think he listened to it, he just played it to taunt me.
Oh,
so he would just, I'd be in the room and then I'd hear the beginnings of the theme and I was like, stop it! Don't do this! And also, my mum, thanks to her, because I said to her, as I was editing, I became very self-conscious of the amount of times I said like. And I was like, I'm going to work on this. I want to change it. She listened to one of our samples, our TikTok samples, and went, you know what, you do say like a lot. And I was like, thanks, Mum. You've just confirmed everything that I was...
You know what? It's part of our language, and it's the way it's something that's very easily mocked. Like, do you remember? So we went to the University of Leeds until very recently. We won't return. And the big thing when we were in first year was that Simon Armitage, who is now the Poet Laureate, but he was Professor of Poetry at Leeds. So there was loads of strike action during first year, and we were all a bit confused by it because we didn't know what was going on. But basically, before Easter, we just had like no teaching.
We had nothing. It was scary for some.
It was so scary.
18,
and like
19-year-olds.
I had nothing for like a month before Easter, so I had basically like 2 months off. It was awful. But anyway, Simon Armitage broke the strike when all of the tutors were striking to give us a random lecture on simile. So that's when you say like, comparing it to something else.
Yeah. And
then I remember this vividly. He made fun of young people on a bus saying like every other word. And it's like, who are you talking to? Read the room, read the audience. We were all this was the only teaching we had for like ages.
I am so surprised that you remember that lecture at all, because no offence to Simon Armitage, I know he's probably listening to this. He's a massive fan.
It's not my dad, it's Simon Armitage that has brought our age rating. He does not give the most invigorating lecture. It was like listening to him on the radio.
Yeah.
In a large room.
it had that vibe of you're on a long road trip with your family and they've got Radio 4 on for some reason and you're drifting off and just like the voice seeps into your dreams. That was Simon Armitage for me. His poems I'm sure are lovely, but his lecturing did not do it for me. I'm sorry, Simon.
Simon.
You know, it's constructive criticism. Feel free to give us some constructive criticism.
Yeah, we'd love to hear your thoughts.
Maybe we remind you of Simon Armitage. The Poet Laureate. But yeah, in other news,
the big news.
Me and Holly this week have conjured Annabelle. The doll from the famous film Annabelle and also the famous happenings of Annabelle.
Wasn't it in the 70s though? I feel like
it must have been, because I feel the 70s is probably the only decade that allowed such a ridiculous thing to occur.
Have you seen that doll?
It's a cuddly toy. It makes more sense in the movie when it's like this
Yeah.
antique doll. I think we're all kind of
Terrifying.
scared of those dolls in general. It's like clowns. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, and it's the eyes, isn't it? And
Yeah.
when they do the blinky, like, no.
Yeah, exactly. But a Raggedy Ann doll, no one is scared of them.
And the whole thing that it's like she came up to them with a knife and she was strangling someone in the middle of the night.
And she's scratching them. She's not got fingers. She's not able to do such a thing.
No, absolutely
but yes,
not.
Me and Holly conjured her last night. It was an accident.
It was sorry, guys.
That was
didn't
on
mean
us. If you don't know, Annabelle
Escaped.
supposedly escaped last night. With her lack of movement, managed to escape the Warrens' house.
Which has like been blessed, and she's in a special case so it doesn't get cursed. And
Exactly.
Stuff.
We're just having a chat, and we started to hate on Annabelle. And I guess she heard it.
I think she heard it. She knew, and I just then had a vivid image of her like swimming across the Atlantic Ocean to go and get us.
She was definitely after us, and I don't know what. I went to bed last night intending to wake up at some point and see Annabelle just crawling up my bed. And I don't even think I'd be scared. I think I'd just be like, this is on me. I'm sorry. Because, Holly, do you want to tell them specifically what we said that angered Annabelle so much?
Just that she was a bit pathetic, wasn't it?
And we compared her to another scary child
a doll that
thing.
the doll we're more scared of is the animatronic Renesmee horrifying baby, because Hannah sent me a video of the actual baby they used before they CGI'd it, and the baby's so cute. Why didn't you just keep it as the baby? She was so, and they were like so happy with her in like the backseat. It was so
It
cute.
made sense.
It made sense. Demon.
And I think this really upset Annabelle, that we said a fictional child from a movie that is not possessed, or could be.
Wow.
But we said this baby animatronic was scarier than her, and somehow I think she caught on.
She was unleashed.
And thought, well, I'll show you quite how scary I am.
But if Renesmee was
language. This is a family podcast.
I feel bad because it's always me that swears, and I don't realise I'm doing it, and then I'm like, oh, whoops.
I haven't noticed it. I was actually thinking the other day that we were doing well on the swearing front. Not that swearing is bad.
No, you're allowed to swear.
You're allowed, but you know, obviously we've been getting so many listens from children. We have no listens from children. We have no listens from children.
It's 18-year-olds is our like baseline, so thank you everybody.
Yeah, thank you to the 18-year-old girls, 18 to 21. We've really found our market.
As it is also us.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a surprise.
No.
And a few Americans. So if you're American and you're listening to this, please get in contact. But get in contact because I think it would be fun. I'd like to know your thoughts. Do they differ from ours?
Because I looked at the analytics and there's 2 people from Virginia. There's
one
person from Ohio and one person from Illinois.
That's so exciting. Oh, we're both equally excited by that. I would love to be your friend.
Yeah,
maybe we could become pen pals. Personally, if you are listening to this by any chance and you are from a country that is not the country we live in, just get in contact. I want something to spice this podcast up, and that is international viewership.
Yes, we're worldwide.
It's a Saturday morning, and me and Holly cannot talk. So
where?
Yeah, you might question, why are these girls doing a podcast?
Why are we listening to them?
Yeah, they're making no effort to even talk, and I just want to say we're trying.
Or finish our stories because we got distracted.
That's more hate to Annabelle. I'm sorry, Annabelle. You interest us. If Annabelle's listening, I'm sorry.
This one's for you.
This is an official apology. Because in light of our theme today, I'd like to do an official apology to Annabelle. Just imagine the tears coming down my face. I was younger than Annabelle. I was just a young girl. I didn't know what was right and wrong, and I'm sorry.
We messed with things beyond our control,
Yeah.
and it just got too far. We went too far.
I'm truly sorry, and I've changed. I'm a different person now.
I kind of hope Annabelle teams up with the Renesmee doll, because apparently the Renesmee doll had white socks when she first came into the museum that they're in, and it's in Forks, Washington. And now her socks are dirty. So people say she runs around the museum at night. And also apparently she's melting.
Oh my
because
gosh.
And then also because it's an animatronic, they'll put her in a normal position one day, and then the next day they wake up and she'll be in this twisted, contorted, horrifying.
Right. This has brought back a deep memory from my childhood of...
Oh no.
When Renesmee visited me. No. I think I have a slight fear of, do you know, the toys you get when you're younger and, you can press their paw or something and they say something?
Yeah.
I had 2 toys that did this, and they both went rogue. So...
Oh, no.
I had a Sully from Monsters, Inc. Now, I may be misremembering a lot of this, but from what I remember, because it happened when I was maybe 3 or 4, so it could be false. From what I remember, I was very scared of Monsters, Inc., but my dad
liked it. It was scary, though,
yeah,
to be fair.
It was kind of scary.
We loved it, but the heartbreaking bit at the end. Anyway, it's a valid feeling.
Yeah, okay, there's monsters. Monsters scary to children. My dad, again, this might not be true. My dad, I think, really liked it. And I think maybe that was a way we bonded. But I was scared and I didn't want to say anything. And in my memory, he just kept buying me Monsters, Inc. merch. So I had a massive Monsters, Inc. poster over my bed. And a Sully alarm clock. And then a Sully toy that spoke. And I put it under my bed. And I don't know if this was nightmares, but I swear I used to just wake up all the time and it would be saying my name. It must have been nightmares, but ever since that, I'm I don't trust things like this. And then I had another one that was, you remember the Barbie movies?
Yeah.
It was whichever Barbie movie had a pink dragon. Maybe it was a purple dragon.
Was it Sleeping Beauty?
I think it was. I had the dragon from it, and it would sing a little tune. And it would just do it in the middle of the night all the time. And I would wake up to this tune.
So rogue. Because I remember it must have been when Yuan was some of my younger brother was getting a bit older, and we were going through our toys to put them in the loft, and which ones we wanted to keep, which ones we wanted to give away. And he had a lot. So my favourite Teletubby was Poe, and his favourite one was Lala. But I was more intense about it than he was.
Yeah.
And suddenly, in the middle of the night, there is just this Lala coming from and I'm the only one in this part of the house, and I was like, oh my god, what's going on? What?
No.
And then I couldn't find it, so it would go off intermittently. But I do think there's a point where toys are maybe 10 years old, 11 years old, and then they just go haywire.
They go rogue.
So freaky that yours was going off when you were a child still. That's horrifying.
Yeah. Well, again, I had a lot of imagination as a child, so it's fully it could be a situation where I made up half of these from my dreams. But
I don't think so. Maybe if it's playing off your fear, but also if it can talk anyway. Gonna.
They were definitely making noises when they shouldn't have been, and that's enough for me. I don't think that we should encourage toys talking. I'm sorry to Toy Story, but I think it's wrong. No rights for toys. They don't deserve them. And I'm talking to you, Renesmee, and to Annabelle. You don't deserve rights. I'm sorry. I know they're going to be at the end of my bed tonight, but I don't think you should be able to talk.
I think Annabelle looks really she's just not scary. I know she's on her way to us, but she's just not scary.
I just can't. I don't think I'll think she's scary until she's strangling me, and at that point, I think I'll be having a bit of a giggle. like, to start with, I think I'll be like, oh, what are the chances that I'm being strangled by Annabelle here? And she's not even got any hands. She's got little...
Not any hands. They're like mittens.
Yeah.
They're like little...
Oh, she's cute. I feel bad for Annabelle, the real victim. Annabelle, even though I don't think you should be able to talk or move, I feel bad for you, and I think you're quite cute, actually. And
yeah.
You don't deserve to be in that little box in the museum.
No, you deserve to be with a child. Also, I know I've stopped talking about Annabelle soon, but like her, I feel like every time I mention her, she's like getting closer.
Yeah.
But the origin story is that this girl had her, who was a student nurse.
Yeah.
So you're like 19, 20, and her mum bought her this doll.
The story doesn't add up, because if your mum was buying dolls at that age, I'm sure there's a reason, but there was never a reason provided, and it seems like an odd gift. I think
like for her birthday, and you're like,
if I was 1920, no, if I was in the 1920s, no, if I was between those ages, which I have been,
speaking from personal experience,
from my own experience, you're a student, you don't have a ton of money. What you really want is things that you need but can't afford to buy, or money. You don't want a doll.
Like
I say that.
Or plates.
And,
you don't.
My friends all bought me a cuddly toy for my 21st birthday. So I say that and then realise that, no, I would be the person that was gifted Annabelle.
Oh my god. I've and it's so cute. It's a seal.
So cute. It's like a chubby seal.
It's a chubby, and he's so soft.
It's like a pillow. And I really hope it's not haunted now. Sorry.
Also, your brother bought you...
Oh my god, I got two
two
cuddly toys for my birthday at 21.
So we take it back. Take that back.
Take it
not
back.
That weird.
In the time I've been at university that is, I've accumulated 4 cuddly toys. I went to uni with like none. And suddenly everyone at university had cuddly toys, and I felt jealous.
I was so surprised because I was like, no, you've got to be an adult. You can't be eating petty flues because they're children's yogurts. And then literally you go to uni and you see that. That was it. I was
Justice for petty flues.
There's no age limit
Holly
to
wanted
petty
to
flues.
eat petty flues and cheese strings and Capri Sun. And she felt angry that she was too old for them. But
I thought I would have to mould my personality and get rid of those parts of me that were so integral. But then to go to uni, everyone's got a bloody cuddly toy.
I swear, everyone we know sleeps with a teddy bear. And I felt left out. I'd been sleeping with a plain old pillow for years.
Yes, I trained myself because I was like, no, you need to grow up now. Like, no more cuddly toys. But guess what? Take your cuddly toys all the way to university because everyone's doing it.
If anything, you get more respect for a cuddly toy.
You do.
Yeah.
You really do.
And if you're wondering why me and Holly have talked about Annabelle so much at the beginning of our podcast, it's because we've literally done nothing this week, apparently, that deserved talking about. We've not watched anything of note, I assume.
No.
Holly, anything of note? No. Nothing.
The only things I think that it's worth noting.
Yes.
Is that I've listened to a lot of ABBA, and I've listened to a lot of what are they called? Like medieval covers of modern songs.
I love them.
They are so clever.
Just a shout out to one of mine and Holly's favourite songs is Redbone, but sung by Carl Weezer from Jimmy Neutron. You can find it on YouTube. It's
incredible.
I hate to say this. I'm sorry to Childish Gambino, another one of our big listeners. But I might prefer Carl Weezer's version. I might prefer it. It's so good.
I forget about it, and then every few months it pops back into my head.
His little voice, his squeaky voice. I'm about to fall asleep, and then I hear him like saying "llamas creeping." Yeah, exactly like that. And I'm awake again. I feel like
Also,
go on.
We realised that I am morphing into Carl Weezer as I enter my 20s.
Maybe I'll become Jimmy Neutron. Oh, I think we've got Halloween sorted. Jimmy Neutron and Carl Weezer.
Oh my god.
Was Carl Weezer close with Jimmy Neutron in the show? I honestly can't remember.
I feel like he was.
Was he his best friend?
Yeah.
But then, yeah,
Aww.
that's nice. We're just, we're going to change this podcast to a Carl Weezer and Jimmy Neutron friendship podcast.
Oh my god, and then we do it as, like, just as them. The whole
just, like, we merge over the course of a year until at the end all you hear is Carl Weezer's squeaky voice and whatever Jimmy Neutron sounds like, because I can't remember.
I don't remember. He's probably the least...
Yeah.
He's the one that's just kind of forgotten about, isn't he?
He was not the star of the
main
show.
Character. No.
No. His big head means nothing to me. But another similarity between me and Jimmy Neutron, I have quite a big head. And you can't see me, but it, just imagine.
Trust me.
Just imagine a big head. Okay, so this week's theme, drum roll, please, is YouTube.
What?
Why are we doing YouTube, Holly?
Because it's an important part of the culture.
It is, It is.
It has been around for a long time now. People have been on YouTube for decades, and as young, well, we're not that, we are kind of young still.
I'd say we're young. I'm 50.
Surprise!
Surprise! We're middle-aged women. We're Jimmy Neutron and we're middle-aged women. What a combination!
Oh no, middle-aged Jimmy Neutron characters.
I would watch it.
Be like what they did at the end of Harry Potter with like bad prosthetics.
The thing is, like, what annoys me about Harry Potter? Sorry, we'll get onto YouTube in a minute.
We will.
This is the thing that always annoys me. Why in the movies do they make everyone look so old? Like, sorry, I had to burp there, and I was trying to not do it on the microphone. But Harry's parents were like 21 when they had him.
Oh my god.
So why in the movie...
They're middle-aged.
They're middle-aged. They had him when they were 21. Straight out of school, they went, let's commit, have a baby. And then Harry, I don't know the exact ages, but I don't think he's meant to be that old at the end. And yet, have you seen Ron?
Oh my god.
Ron,
they did Ron dirty.
They did Ron dirty. Hermione looks the same.
Yeah, she does.
Hermione's not aged. You can tell there's issues with her and Ron's relationship.
Oh, and Malfoy? What they did to him? Oh my god.
Justice for anyone in Harry Potter that was aged
poorly.
Up. Yeah. Sorry, like you've got all this magic and you can't do a few like skin tricks? I don't know.
Skin tricks.
That's what I'd do. Yeah, so YouTube.
Yes.
We're often, as we've mentioned before, me and Holly love a bit of drama. Not in our lives, but in other people's lives.
It's nice, not nice to watch, but it's like, it's interesting to know what's going on out there. And to be honest, I do mainly watch commentary YouTubers and
same
tea videos.
So, I would say I mainly do the same too, or just wholesome people.
Yeah,
but
there's a few of them.
I think the reason I enjoy the drama on YouTube is it almost seems fabricated. I think
most often is. Though,
yeah,
isn't it?
I think a lot of the time it must be fabricated in that two people are like, you know what would get our videos more views if we had a bit of a spat or we had a bit of drama. I don't think a lot of it's realistic because sometimes, like, they're adults.
Yeah.
They shouldn't be having these issues. When it's someone like James Charles, the excuse is always he's quite young, which is fair. But I think once you've reached the age of, like, 27...
You need to start reevaluating. Yeah.
Stop having arguments with children.
Because surely that's not... And I mean, the main hot topic at the minute was kind of the Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson fiasco.
And they're old.
They're like in their 30s now.
In YouTube terms, that is. Like, in real life, that's not old. But in YouTube...
We're not being ageist. But, like, to be... I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's, like, because you've been online for such a long time.
Yeah.
And you're presenting a certain image that people think can be quite static. but I think it maybe stunts your emotional growth.
That's potentially true. I think what I've always found interesting about YouTube in a similar vein is that we've not had it long enough to see how people who got famous on YouTube, how their life will then go.
No.
So once you've fizzled out on YouTube, do you just commit to still trying, or do you find a real job?
I know, this is like...
Do you get into the real world again after having like $1 million house in LA or something?
Because how do you sustain, like, when I think about... Because I loved Jenna Marbles. She made me so happy. Her videos still just make me so happy. Yeah. But she seems to be the only person who sort of kept her, like, quirky authenticity. And I know quirky becomes like a TM thing now, but she genuinely does what she enjoys. But she took proper accountability. And also the people that are saying, like, oh, we forgive you, but if they're a white person, it's not, you can't give that forgiveness.
It's not really your thing to forgive.
No.
It's like, it's not the same, but if a serial killer had killed a bunch of people and you from outside the situation went, well, I forgive it. It's really the family of the people who were killed's choice of whether they forgive or not. Yeah. So it's, obviously that's an extreme situation, but that's the meaning behind that it's not really you that's been hurt by it. It's not really you that can forgive it.
And I definitely think when it was all coming out, so Jenna did it first, and then obviously we'll get on to Shane Dawson, but you watch black YouTubers and listen to how they react and listen to what they say. Listen to the people who have been affected and whose whole identity was stereotyped and just mocked for cheap laughs. And listen to what those people are saying, because they're the ones who have been negatively affected by this. So
big time.
It's not white people's place to accept the apology of racist behaviour.
No, not at all. Not at all. But the person I really want to talk about is Shane Dawson.
Yes.
Neither of us have chosen for our topic, but the drama with him recently...
Oh my god,
it's my obsession. Astronomical. If you don't know what happened with Shane Dawson, I don't even think I can explain it all, so really there's a bunch of good YouTube videos on it, but essentially...
I would recommend D'Angelo Wallace's, and because he did like an hour-long video on all of Shane Dawson's terrible things that he's done.
You can listen to it while you're getting ready in the morning, or when you're in the bath, maybe. But essentially, there was a lot of drama on YouTube last year with James Charles, who is a young YouTuber, maybe our age, maybe a bit younger.
I think he's younger, which is just scary.
I think he's younger, yeah. And Shane Dawson, it wasn't with Shane Dawson, but essentially a lot of the beauty community came out against James Charles, to the point that he was, inverted commas, cancelled.
And he was losing, I remember it because there was so many, YouTube videos that had the live counter thing of his follower count going down, and, Tati Westbrook, who came out against him, her thing going up, and it was like, oh my god, this is the down. It was very public.
Yeah, and at the time I think a lot of people were like, well, it seemed deserved because a lot of the allegations against him were very serious. But it came out that I think mostly they were false.
And it was orchestrated by people in their 30s.
Yeah, who targeted a young boy who fell into a deep depression following that, was not in a good place. He'd been targeted by a lot of people, and that's not to say James Charles is perfect, but that is not anything that a young boy should go through.
No, the trauma of thinking that the whole world hates you, or that they think you're... Well, they were calling him a sexual predator, and it was all very homophobic, the way that it was presented, that it was like, you tricked straight men to thinking they were gay. What is this language that they were... Yeah. But it's all... It was absolutely vile, and everyone did just turn on a pin.
It was sad.
Yeah.
Orchestrated by, supposedly, Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star...
And Tati Westbrook.
Tati Westbrook, who came up with a new video this year. And also there's been some, they've brought up past videos of Shane's, which are very racist.
And
not even...
paedophilic. Like...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You know...
Yeah, sorry.
When you see, I don't know, like a TV show from 20 or 30 years ago, and there's bits of sexism and racism, and you watch it and you're like, oh, no.
Mm.
But you can watch it, like, you can get through it. This, I watched it and I just thought, no, this is just fully disgusting. I don't know that it would be funny at the time. I don't really think that's an acceptable excuse.
Absolutely
of like, well, it was
not.
a different time, because in other situations, they're more like microaggressions, where it's like, yeah, well, it's not acceptable, but it was a different time. People said this a lot. In this situation, this is full-blown racism and paedophilia, essentially. Not nice.
It's so gross, and when it was kind of going on and we were talking about it, when all the videos were coming out, and we were like, he was older than we are now when he was making this content. It wasn't like, and the defense is always, humour was so different 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But surely you wouldn't, that wouldn't cross your mind unless you had some really deep-seated racist issues and paedophilic issues. That was what you counted as humour. Like, that's not... Who was that funny for?
No, I can't see that it was funny, and his explanation for it wasn't really good enough either.
He didn't take accountability, and I think that's when people compare Jenna Marbles to... Because she did it first, and then he said he was inspired by Jenna Marbles taking accountability, so it was like, well, you...
Never be inspired by... Yeah, never be inspired by someone's apology.
No.
Just apologise. If you feel bad about it, it shouldn't take someone else apologising for you to be like, you know what?
I should do that as well.
I have felt bad about it for a while, so now I'll do it. If you feel bad about something, take accountability immediately.
Yeah.
Or at least when you feel comfortable doing it. Don't wait for someone else to do it.
It's so...
Do it.
And that's why I think that maybe being on YouTube for a long time, if you haven't really... You've grown up alongside this, so you have like this stunted, maybe having like a parasocial relationship with your audience, that stunts your perception of like what relationship and what is like acceptable and what's not acceptable behaviour. Yeah. I don't know, I'm not trying to excuse it, but I'm just trying to understand it and to think like, why do they all act so badly? Because they all act badly.
I don't know. I have no explanation for it. It seems odd to me, but then again, I guess their excuse I could see being, even TV could be very racist then. Like, we had Come Fly With Me on the TV, which if you look back, just had full blown blackface. It's astronomical. I recently, before we get onto our main topics, have been fascinated by his past movie appearances. My God. I've watched many videos on them. So number one is his movie that he directed, which is called Not Cool. And I haven't watched it.
When did it come out? Was it like 2011?
I want to say 2014. I want to say it's later than you think. And I'm not going to fact check that. I'm just going to say it is 2014. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
It's later than you think.
It's scary. And there was a documentary made about it. I haven't watched it and I don't want to. But basically, I've seen clips from it. Shane Dawson seems like a horrible person. He's rude to everyone. Zachary Quinto, the actor, was meant to produce the film or something and takes his name off it. He's so astounded. And that kind of gets rid of Shane's excuse of like, it was a different time, because I watched a clip where a woman comes in and she's talking to the people who are working on it, and she says something like, do you know, have you seen his videos? And they're like, yeah. And she says, so you support like his homophobic, racist, sexist videos and stuff like that?
Yes. I've seen that because I've seen that clip because I think she owned the bar or something they were filming
it's
at,
definitely
and then she was like, can you not, if you're going to film, like, it's fine to film, but I didn't know it was him, and don't have my bar name, like, don't show it. She doesn't want her name, her, like, business associated.
Yep. So that
with his
shows
content.
that you can't really blame it on the time, because people were already like, this is wrong. And there's a scene, which again I haven't watched, but I was astounded to hear about it, and all the videos I watched about it didn't want to show it, for right reasons. He has a homeless man eat his own feces.
In the film?
Yep.
What?
Like, obviously it's not real, but like... And he cast the man with a black actor. Yeah. And actors didn't want to be in the film because of that scene. So at the time it was already problematic, so you can't really blame it on the time. And he was in another film called Smiley, which is a horror film.
He was in a horror... Is this Joey?
Yep.
No, this wasn't Joey Graceffa's.
No, this was just a random horror film that I have watched a few clips from. Looks like the least scary thing ever. His acting, not good. Sorry. I'm sorry to Shane, but you need to work on that if you want to get into acting. I wasn't convinced. The whole time I was like, yep, I'm watching Shane Dawson. I wasn't immersed. Emerged? I wasn't...
Immersed,
whatever the word is.
Right, immersed.
Yeah. I wasn't immersed in you, Shane. Don't take that out of context.
I wanted to believe in you, but I didn't believe in you.
Yeah. I think if you're a YouTuber and you're going into acting, make me believe you're not the YouTuber I've seen you do many controversial things. And he's the love interest in both these films.
No.
And in the not cool one, he self-casts himself as the love interest, and he's meant to be this really cool, hot jock type. And then he shaves his head at the end of the film.
What is this train wreck of a... Like...
I don't know.
Maybe it's that thing that if you're in your bedroom filming and there's no issue, that you don't, outside that echo chamber, when you're actually surrounded by people, but you've got... I don't know, I think this is what it is, because the person that I want to talk about today is Miss Gabbie Hanna. Because I feel like...
I'm so excited!
She is one of those people who... She is like, I have a craft. I have an art. I am working on my craft. And then the actual product of her singing, of her poetry... I don't want to call it poetry, because that collection is...
I wish we had it. I wish we had it to read bits from.
I feel like...
Do you have it?
I don't have it, but
I thought you were gonna like pull it up and be like, ha ha! And I got very excited.
Very special. No, I did watch about 4 hours worth of videos on it yesterday, so we are well versed. The big ones that people always bring up about the poems are her saying, money is relative.
Oh, I know the one.
Time is relative. Family is relatives. So
it's incredible work, really.
But what does it mean? Is it just thinking, words can mean two things?
Yeah.
Wow. Isn't
She's
English...
just realised that.
Isn't English amazing? And then, it's grammatically incorrect!
Gabbie!
It's literally, it's a 6-word poem, if you can call it that.
Yeah.
And the grammar, it should be time... No, family are relatives.
Yeah. Yeah. I
have no...
I'm astounded by this book of poetry, because I haven't read it, so no hate to Gabbie. I'm sure there's some that pass for good poetry and some people would enjoy. I don't think it's going to win any awards, but, I'm sure some people find enjoyment from it, and if they do, it's good for them. But it's so clear by the later poems in the book, and she admits it in the book, that she just ran out of time and she needed some more poems, so she just wrote some random stuff.
I don't think she should have labelled it as a poetry book. I think she should have labelled it as tweets that didn't make it out the draft.
And I think that's not a terrible idea for a book.
Really, don't pretend that it's and I understand that Rupi Kaur, and I have a separate issue with the work of Rupi Kaur, but there are many positives to Rupi Kaur, that she, is that kind of spoken word poet. It's a different kind of poetry that's very popular right now. She's made a huge success of it. She is of an ethnic minority, so that's another voice that, and she got famous through Instagram, so there's a democratized element to it, and it's very accessible, and it's very successful, and people really resonated with it. However, Rupi Kaur is the surface of fairly basic sentiments, but she still obviously spends time on them, she cultivates them, she does have a craft, and she's made that her thing. However, Gabbie Hanna, and same with Trisha Paytas' poems, she has managed to stoop even... She's not on the surface, it's like literally first thought, stream of consciousness out of her head. Ooh, I'll split a sentence up into random phrase,
exactly.
It's not...
But I think the thing is with literature right now, people are always looking to do something new, and that's not a bad thing. There's books now that are people's email correspondence and stuff like that. There's a lot of new forms of literature, and that's very exciting. She could have done a book of essentially tweets and labelled it that, or a book that was her stream of consciousness and labelled it that, or almost like a diary sort of situation, and people would have enjoyed that. It would have sold. It's the fact it's labelled poetry. It just seems so odd, because she maybe could have called it like a memoir in tweets or something like that.
That's what they are.
And she would have got...
They are tweets. They are drafted tweets.
And she could have got... But that's quite niche.
Yeah.
She wouldn't be mocked for it because it's tweets. It is what it is, but it's still doing something new, and it's artistic, and she's tapping into her artistic nature, and I don't think that's a bad thing, but it seems a stretch to call it poetry.
There is another issue where I watched this girl on TikTok, and I'm not sure who it is, so I'm very sorry that I don't remember, but she said that a lot of Gabbie Hanna's poetry sounded very familiar to her, especially the ones that are like, I think it's called O positive, where she's like, oh, I donated blood today, at least finally I'm somebody's type. And then they have so many screenshots of tweets where people are tweeting the exact same thing or the exact same sentiment 4 years before, like 5 years before.
Why?
So she's basically, I reckon she's gone through her liked tweets or things she's retweeted and been like, that's clever, when she's really struggled with them.
I know. I want to say that may have been a situation where she was sat there trying to think of poems, and she was suddenly like, oh yeah, I've got something really good, writes it down, and it's a tweet she'd seen earlier that day. I'd like to say that's the situation and give her the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, that it wasn't completely
plagiarised. I don't know if it was, but let's hope it wasn't completely plagiarised, because however, the O negative one or whatever, even I feel like I've seen that before.
Oh, it was widely
that's
spread.
Kind of a common...
Yeah, it's very it was very widely spread at the time, and very Tumblr-y,
Yeah, maybe that's where I'd seen it. But I feel like that's definitely something I'd already heard.
Yeah.
I keep hitting my microphone. I'm sorry if that's you can hear that. But I keep, clearly with anger at Gabbie Hanna, keep going to hit it.
Well,
tell me more.
This is the other thing about her kind of stealing tweets, because I think apparently in her Vine crossover to YouTube days, she would say... She would steal Bo Burnham's not tweets, but his jokes. And it was like, oh, I just love him so much, so that's why. And they must have just been come into my brain through osmosis because I admire this person so much. That's not how you appreciate artists' work. You credit them, you give them recognition, and you don't pretend that they are your own thoughts. So I think that's why when I heard that in a video, I was like, oh my god, that makes so much sense if she's been scrolling through her Twitter.
Yeah, but it's almost kind of stupid in that, especially if she's doing it with Bo Burnham, who has a very specific form of comedy. that if you copied it, I think it'd be quite clear it was copied.
100%.
Because
It's not you're not Bo Burnham.
No. Stop it, Gabbie. Stop doing that. I don't like it.
Oh, honestly.
So,
and to be fair, there was people started talking about the poetry book because of this YouTuber called Rachel Oates.
Yes,
and
I know her.
She, to be fair to this girl, she tries her absolute hardest to analyze Gabbie Hanna like it's proper poetry. And I mean, the video is very, very long, but I really commend her for trying to do that, because I watched her video and I've watched other people talk about it, and I'm like, this is bullshit. Like, who is taking this as seriously as? And then this Rachel Oates, to be fair, she does go like, well, she could have done it like this poem that I love by Simon Armitage or Carol Ann Duffy, and it's kind of like you can't compare. You can't compare.
No, I think she tries to do it in such a kind way.
She does,
which is
yeah.
nice.
And I think that's really wholesome.
And she's really giving her the benefit of the doubt, and that's the sort of video I like to see.
Yeah.
But I think she's definitely being constructive. But Gabbie Hanna famously doesn't respond well to constructive criticism.
Well, as we've seen, so she took about 3 months to respond to Rachel Oates's critique.
She was thinking of a reply for 3 months. I'm going to do a really good reply here. People are going to really side with me.
And I think this is the other problem with Gabbie Hanna. So when she becomes a meme, or people make fun of her or make fun of something she does, she comes off being like, I can take a joke, I find this really funny. Like she did, and I'll get onto the monster meme in a minute. But oh my god, in this video, so I watched Rachel Oates responding to it, all got so meta. But I was like, I don't want to give Gabbie Hanna any more money, so I'll give it to the smaller YouTuber. Anyway, so in the video, Gabbie Hanna compares herself to Gordon Ramsay, Quentin Tarantino, and Ariana Grande.
I mean, what a selection of people.
Right? Like, if that's who her absolute ideal people are, that selection of people, Gordon Ramsay, Quentin Tarantino, and Ariana Grande, like, her brain must be an absolute mess.
But, so, she was trying to go for elites of each industry, right? But Gordon Ramsay, in terms of what he's done with cooking and making it more accessible and getting like on every TV show ever, that's good, but is he really, like, the elite of cooking? Sorry, Gordon. I don't think you are. Although, I say that, he has a surprising amount of Michelin stars, so...
He does, to be fair.
He does. I think it's because he's on TV so much that I'm surprised that
he's got
Gordon
talent,
Ramsay actually is a good chef. Yeah. Sorry, Gordon. I take it back. Sorry, Gabbie. I take everything back, Gabbie. I'm sorry. I'm a Gabbie Hanna stan now.
Oh,
I was wrong.
I think she just engages, and I understand that if you do have people, like, I don't have people hating on me every day, you know, with whatever I put out onto the internet, so I understand that must be really hard. Also,
okay, I'll give her that.
She's been on the internet for such a long time.
Yeah.
That you would think if you'd made that much money, if you'd had that much success out of whatever you've done for like 10 years, you would just ignore it. Why does she still engage with these things?
I agree. I think there is a part of me that's like, I feel very bad for her in terms of that, because that must not be easy. I don't think anyone really deserves it. But then she never really addresses what she's done wrong. So, and I don't mean the poetry book. She shouldn't have to apologise for that. That's her thing. But she's done other negative things and never really addressed them. No. And then you can't really be surprised that people are upset by that.
Because, and I think that's what it comes with. So whatever you do put out, it's going to be tainted by how you've reacted to certain other things in the past. And the problem is when she talks about, it's in this video where she talks about her, you know, she's working on her craft and her art, and not everyone's going to enjoy it, but it's so lazy. She doesn't work on any craft. If you care about something, if you want to be a successful writer, successful poet, if you want to be a successful songwriter, you will work on that no matter what. What she has is an already fully formed audience, And then the backers see that. It's the same with all YouTuber books. It's the same with Shane Dawson's films. Like,
exactly.
They know that they will make money off it no matter what shit is produced from it.
Yeah.
And that doesn't take any... There's no love lost in there. It's a means to an end. It doesn't have to be incredible because it's going to sell no matter what. Yeah. And I think that's where... It's not to diminish someone's work, but it's to say, like, you have not spent any time on this, given the fact that several of the poems in the book are about, I had to write a poem today, I guess I'll write this one.
I know. The one, I can't remember exactly, but she gets out of the shower to write it. That's kind of it.
Yeah, she has a thought, and then, so, like, literally there's 2 poems side by side, and it's like, this is how good the next poem is, that I had to jump out the shower and write it down before I forgot it. So it's like the poem before the poem that follows is to hype the other poem.
Imagine if all poets were like that before they wrote the poem. They're like, this next one is really good, so give it some time, mull it over, give it a read,
when she says
let me know what you think.
Oh, it's all deeper than people realise. Like, I'm trying to talk about dark humour and really, like, dark topics. Ugh. Which, to be fair, she is very much like, wish I was dead a lot of the time. But
again, do you not think that's a bit like 2014 Tumblr jokes again? Yeah. That she's just getting, like...
And Shane Dawson does it as well, like that kind of...
I don't think it's really funny anymore.
No.
That just being like, death, I want to be there. I don't find that funny. No. I don't know that anyone really laughs at that anymore.
And I don't think that's the way people want to talk about mental health anymore either. I think when a time it was stigmatised and it was like, I feel quite isolated because I feel this way, but then you find that there's lots of other people who are making light of it and self-deprecate, and you're like, I found people that want to, that I can relate to with that. But that was, again, like 5-6 years ago plus.
Mm-hmm.
You don't still have to be like,
at this point, it's just old, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Like, it's an old joke. I think that joke started in the 90s, probably. Like, self-deprecating humour.
Yeah,
there is a way to do it. No, there is a way to do it, and people do it now, and they're great. I can't think of any examples right now, but there are examples, and they do it very well.
Yeah.
She just is basically using jokes that were used in the 90s. It's not original to just say, wish I was dead, lol. Like, if you were sending that as a message to your friends, like, maybe you'd get a laugh, but I don't think you're getting a laugh in your poetry book, Gabbie. I'm sorry.
No. And,
I'm sorry to Gabbie, but I think maybe she should give up on the comedy.
Yeah.
That you can't be talented at everything.
Well,
I'm sorry.
Talented
Hot
at?
tea. Oh, I thought I was bringing in some tea, but apparently
like...
not. Well, okay, we can say in a positive light, she must be talented at YouTube because she's followers.
Been successful, yeah. And fair enough. And it's a lot of it's to do with luck, isn't it? A lot of it is to do with you were right place, right time. Yeah. She was a Viner. Vine hasn't been around for a long time, but like she
never came up with an iconic Vine, you know.
She didn't.
You know what I mean?
She's no Drew Gooden.
Drew Gooden.
Yeah.
Does videos now, but he had an iconic Vine. And if you watch iconic Vine compilations, Gabbie's nowhere to be seen.
She's really not.
Sorry, Gabbie. Sorry.
So, the other thing that kind of started Gabbie Hanna being known a bit more was in 2018. She did Genius. I think they call it like Genius Verified, where they talk about
I think so.
The meaning behind the lyrics of their videos.
Yeah.
Now.
And if you've seen any of them, they're never great. Because it's an awkward setup.
So awkward.
No one knows whether to talk or sing.
Yeah, so I watched... I tried to watch one. I didn't know who a lot of the people are because I'm just very not up on rap scene. I will admit.
She's not like other girls.
But then I found one where Matty Healy very recently was talking about the meaning behind people, and oh my god, he's so irritating. There's something about Matty Healy that just... I'm
sorry to Matty Healy, but sometimes I listen to him talk.
He's so pretentious.
Just stop. Just stop talking now.
Like, he didn't even... he's got this mullet now that he kept, like, scratching his fingers through, and I was like, no.
Oh.
He just...
Sorry,
but then I was like,
no. I want to heighten the sound of him scratching his mullet.
No.
I want to like hear it in a ASMR way. Just ugh. I often think, what is Matty Healy like in real life?
I don't think he would smell very nice.
I get what you mean. I don't think he would.
Unwashed.
And I think he would encourage other people to not smell nice. I think you'd be like, oh, I'm going to get in a shower, Matty. And he'd be like, no, showers are like a form of...
water waste.
Yeah, it's a form of oppression against women. And I'd be like, I am a woman, Matty. And he'd be like, yes. You're being oppressed by the water. But thanks for letting me know about my own oppression, Matty.
Mansplaining.
Maybe I'm gonna write a song about it. I'm gonna write a song about how sad you are about showers.
And then you run out the shower and write down how good his song is gonna be. The prelude.
It's just me at the beginning of his song being like, this song you're about to hear is so good. It was written as I was about to get in the shower, and then I ran out the shower and wrote this thing about how good the song would be.
But I was watching him to see if he sang, but he didn't. He just went, people, however the song starts. And I was like...
Sometimes it's worse when they don't, though, because I heard, who sings the song? It's on TikTok a lot. I feel like you won't know, but I don't know either. But it's just, I'm a cow. It's a song that's just about them being a cow.
Is it to the sound? Is it to the thing of I'm a savage?
I'm gonna look at it. No,
I
it's
don't know
just
the cow song.
It's a song. Right, you talk. I'm gonna find out who. Oh, right, it's by Doja Cat.
Oh, okay.
It's called Moo. Okay, I'm hoping this is the song I'm talking about. But she does one of the Genius verified videos, and it's funny, but it's odd because it's just going, I'm a cow. I'm a cat. Like, I don't know why Genius thought they were a good idea, but they are a good idea in terms of meme content.
Yes, they are just, you could just mine them. So they asked Gabbie Hanna to come on and explain the stuff of her song Monster, which is, the lyrics, I feel like you can get away with it more with lyrics because unlike poetry, people don't really read into lyrics that much unless you've got that vibe. But she sang. And she's not a bad singer. Like, she's not the best singer. She's not a bad singer.
Would she be successful if she didn't have a YouTube career? Probably not. But she's not bad. She's definitely not bad. I would not say she is. She could maybe use some, like, fine-tuning, but no.
Yeah, like, she can afford a vocal coach. Like...
Yeah, get a vocal coach, Gabbie.
You can afford it.
I'm available, Gabbie, to coach.
Yeah, we'll do it for free.
We'll invite you on the podcast. Yeah. You sit down.
Love podcasts.
We'll coach you through singing.
She loves it, and like, have you seen that one where she's playing with the it's like a coaster, and she's playing with it in her toes, on a podcast. No. Have you not seen it?
No.
Oh my god! So like, she is very memeable, and more recently, when she has kind of come out and faced her. Whatever, so she gets a lot of backlash, but then she doesn't react very well to it. So she could just ignore it.
I think that's the issue.
Just ignore it. You've got so much money. Like,
have you got quotes from the poems she read out?
No, what poems?
You know the one where it was not a poem. What do you call it when they do the clicks?
Spoken word.
Have you got quotes from that?
No, but there's the one from TikTok where it's like, I thought without body can be the whole world.
Yep. Also, are you going to do an impression of her on the Genius thing? I really hope you do.
Okay. Maybe I'm a monster. Apologies to everyone listening.
Holly, I'm sorry for making you do that, but I needed to see it.
So,
I needed to see it.
If I was now a Gabbie Hanna, I'd be like, so she tried to play it off like she was really cool with it, and she did a video where she was like, oh, it's so funny, but she's kind of over laughing, and she's like, oh, look at all these memes, like, oh, I'm in on the joke, and then she made merch out of one of the memes made about her. But anyway, like, we can, make your own mind about the politics of that, but then she just was like, actually, it was the mics, so it was Genius, like, the mics just didn't work. It was you hitting a bum note.
Just blame the mic. That's going to be Annabelle on my bed tonight. What if I'm the monster?
Maybe I'm a monster.
You are.
And so obviously it's like her face she's very, very passionate. So I feel like if she channeled her passion into something else that wasn't...
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like she could be really good at it, but maybe she just hasn't found it yet, even though she's getting older.
How old is she?
I should have checked, really.
Should we take guesses? I think 28. Not based on her looks, I just think she's been around a bit.
She really has. She's 29.
That's going to be annoying. I was right. I was 1 year out.
Oh my god.
She's 29.
That's mad.
I didn't expect that. She's 29.
To still be engaging with trolls and, like, causing drama. Gabbie.
I just think she's not had much character growth.
No.
If it was a TV show, I think I'd complain, because she's not really...
She hasn't developed.
She's not grown. Yeah, there's been no development there.
I think even...
But yeah, what's Gabbie been up to recently?
She's been on a lot of podcasts quite recently.
For any reason? She wants to get out?
She was trying to stop cyberbullying by writing words badly spelled on her face and then wiping them all off. Which, you know, donate, like, promote a anti-cyberbullying charity instead of going, I'm not going to sit here and pull up receipts from my high school bullies. They're high school bullies.
The thing I've seen when she writes the stuff on her face, and again, I just want to say that it's unoriginal. I've seen so many people do it. It's Little Mix even do it for one of their videos. They write it all on their body. It's been done to death. If you want to, like, change cyberbullying, maybe use all your money and influence, Gabbie. You don't just write some stuff on your face.
What does that even say? And then, so...
It doesn't teach anyone anything.
It really doesn't. And it just gives people more fuel to make fun of you. Like,
yeah. I don't know, maybe I don't know. I think the podcasts aren't a bad idea. To maybe sit down and be like... Because sometimes, when you watch podcasts, the people who run it are very talented and can make you see a different side to someone that you didn't anticipate before. I think that's like a sign of a good interviewer. Definitely. If you can make someone empathise with the worst people. That's quite good. So podcasts I think are kind of good to go on, as long as you're not going on to just be mocked. And she could have sat there and been like, cyberbullying. I personally have had a load of issues with my mental health because of it, all this. And I really would have sympathised with her for that, but I don't sympathise so much when she just writes stuff on her face.
It's an empty gesture, and it's really performative, and it's not obviously on the level of...
It is.
Especially because, you know, the big conversation is about, like, activism and what kind of activism are you doing, and, like, are you doing it to look better because people are chasing after you saying you haven't been doing it? And it kind of feels like in that branch that she could actually put her money and do something, like, really good quietly. But this is the problem. I feel like, I mean, it must have a detriment to your mental health, seeing people making fun of you. I'm not discrediting that.
Yeah.
But there's also this thing where in every interview in the podcast, she's always like, you know, I'm so happy. I've got, like, my house, like, my boyfriend. Like, we're just so happy. Like, I'm happy. Happy people don't cause all this drama. And you know when someone just overkills, like, they just talk, trying to convince other people that you're completely fine when you might actually not be fine.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't completely buy that because I think if she admitted that everything in my life is going well, I'm very happy, but every time I read one of these comments, I find it really hard. And I know I don't deal with it in the best way, but I just really struggle with it. It really affects my, like, self-esteem.
I respect it.
I'd react well to that because I understand that. I think a lot of people would understand
100%.
that, and that makes sense. But just being like, I'm very happy. Listen to all the things I have.
Yeah.
These things make me happy. Happy people don't cause drama, which is the equivalent of in Legally Blonde when she says that happy people don't murder.
Yes. That is the...
Yeah, maybe that's what Gabbie was going... She just watched Legally Blonde the night before and she was like, I exercise now, I have endorphins, happy people don't, not murder, you know, the other thing.
Cause drama.
Don't cause drama on the internet.
So like the big thing that I kind of first was thinking about Gabbie Hanna was when Trisha Paytas, who is also a terrible person.
She's not good.
But consistently, and I'm not going to say very much about Trish, but so Gabbie Hanna basically told the weird, creepy 40-year-old that Trish was sleeping with Jason Nash, who was part of the Vlog Squad, that Trish had herpes, even though she had no idea what was, like, she didn't know if this was true. It was like a rumour. And then Trish very publicly came out and was like, it's none of your business. You shouldn't have told him that. You should have, like, come to me. Or not even just don't say anything. Like, I'm not sleeping with you. Like, it's none of your business.
Right, I guess the only way this would be acceptable is if Gabbie Hanna was absolutely best friends with Jason Nash and she'd heard it and knew it was factually true. Like, she'd seen the paperwork and then she was looking out for her best friend and she went to him and she was like, I'm worried that you could get this very bad STD. That seems fair, but was there any evidence that Trish...
I think she heard a rumour, and then to make herself feel better for what she did, she polled her young fans on Instagram saying, did I do the right thing?
Gabbie! Gabbie, no!
Imagine doing
Gabbie,
that!
Gabbie, you're nearly 30!
Exactly!
You own a home!
Polling people on Instagram being like, to justify your own actions. And obviously they're going to say yes.
I know, it's like if your parents try and get you involved in an argument, that's what they're doing. Gabbie's the mum and Trisha's the dad. They're the parents of everything problematic on YouTube.
And so, like, Trisha's got too many issues to even cover, but the most recent ones was she... came out, said that she was trans, even though... And it's not... And people were trying to be really sensitive about the way we talked about it, because obviously you don't want to dismiss someone's identity.
Yeah.
However, her reasoning for it seemed like she was trolling, and then she was doing it to come for clicks, which is the only... She will never not be on the internet if she still has a platform. But I think cancel culture doesn't work with Trisha Paytas because she has offended. She said the N-word 10 years ago. She has most recently come out and said she has dissociative identity disorder, which means it's what multiple personalities is now clinically called, which comes from childhood trauma, and it's where the identity, the personality gets split to deal with the trauma, and it's a real thing. And there's a YouTuber who is really working to educate people on their system and their experience, and
she's lovely.
Yeah, they're so lovely.
This girl is lovely. The girl that originally Trisha had an issue with and called her crazy for her DID. Which is never do that. Just in any situation, don't call someone crazy.
Don't, because you don't know what.
It's not the right word choice.
What they're going through.
Pick another one.
Yeah, and it's but it seems like Trish has trolling that as well, but actually it had a really dark consequence for the YouTuber. So
it was not good.
But then I saw a TikTok literally 4 days ago, where people do that. It's the misogyny for me.
I know the one,
And so Trish starts out with, like, it's the fake boobs for me.
But to clarify, they don't do it about themselves. They'll be about other people. A problematic celebrity and be like, it's the racism for me. As in, it's the racism for me that's why
turning me off. Them. Like, that's the kind of thing. So she's doing it like she's talking to herself from two different angles. And then she's like, oh, it's the fake boobs. So she starts off very, like, superficial for me. And then she goes... It's the not apologising to the trans community for me. Yeah. It's not apologising for the DID community for me. It's saying the N-word and not apologising for it for me. She's so self-aware. She knows exactly what she is doing, and what she does is wrong. But she won't say sorry for it because she still gets attention no matter what she's doing. So stop giving her a platform.
Don't give her attention. Yeah, don't give her attention.
It's the only way
it's
she'll
exactly
stop.
what Katie Hopkins does.
100%.
Like, if she says something bad, what she wants is a lot of people to talk about it. She doesn't, like, she's not going to apologise.
No, she won't.
Even if people send her however much hate, she will not apologise. And she'll just turn it on the people sending her hate, which is exactly what Trish will do. Don't give these people a platform. Don't respond to them. Give them nothing. And that's the only way to get rid of them.
I think that's it,
because all they want is a response.
Cancel culture, yes, cancel culture is toxic. However, and people say it should be accountability culture now, which is, and people want to see creators and people that they're watching and supporting changing and growing and actually showing that they're not like that anymore. They don't hold those views. They don't think that way. However, when people are so unreconstituted so that they just doesn't matter, you're waiting for an apology that will never come because they will never stop being relevant as long as they have a platform. They will continue to do this. Don't give them attention. Don't click on anything. If you're going to watch stuff, watch tea videos. But again, there's dodgy stuff about that because it gives them more. They see what's getting views and likes.
But at least they're not getting the views.
They're not getting the views.
Don't give them the views. That's what gets them money. The more money she's making from being controversial, the more she'll be controversial. And that's just the way it is. That's a cycle.
So that is the only way. You take your subscription. Like when the whole thing with Jeffree Star and Shane Dawson was coming out and it was unfolding, you unsubscribe from them and you don't watch them anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what you should do.
It's the only way to do it.
Yep.
So they were kind of, they're the case studies. They're very interesting case studies. They're obviously not the main examples of YouTube culture, but they have been around for a long time. They do intersect quite a lot. And I just think they are bad examples of why you should be cautious of what's going on or why you're watching people still.
They can be the more negative side of YouTube. The side that seems like teenage girls from movies that
those cliches
just go out their way to it feels very cliched. And I in a bad way, when I was talking about drama being orchestrated on YouTube, part of me thinks that Gabbie Hanna Trisha drama was partly orchestrated.
100%.
I don't think that was fully truthful. It seemed odd. There was loads of different bits to it that just definitely weren't true. And these, I can't remember how old Trisha is.
She's 32.
I imagine she's 32. Yes. So these are two women around the age of 30. Both responsible. They have their own house. Trisha's got a dog. Like, you've got responsibilities. You know how to take care of yourself. Stop causing drama that is only really acceptable when you're a teenager.
Because if I was acting like that and I was nearly 30, I'd be like, I'd want to have a look at myself and go, what? Yeah. Move on from it. But maybe you can't. Maybe you don't know how to get more money. How do you exist in the kind of lifestyle
maybe it's a form of fear. Yeah. It's a form of fear probably that they're getting older.
And you become irrelevant. Or there's someone...
Yeah, so they're like, what can I do to keep my relevance
It's ridiculous.
Going? So get ready for a segue.
Here it comes.
So, while we're talking about YouTube and orchestrating drama, let's move on to my topic, which is a YouTuber from the very early days of YouTube called Lonely Girl 15. Now, let's just start off with who she was. So she, like I say, is a YouTuber right at the very beginning, maybe in the first year of YouTube starting.
Oh, right at the beginning.
So, yeah. But I want to say it was 16 months after YouTube started.
That's very specific.
Again, I don't know why that number's in my head.
Instead of being like, they're a year and a bit.
That number is
16 months.
Okay, it was a year and a bit. 16 months old. Anyway. So, Lonely Girl 15 is this girl named Brie. She's a teenage girl. She does vlogs. These vlogs are not like vlogs we know today because they're about 2 minutes long on average. And I'm not gonna lie, sorry to Brie, they're boring. She'd just sit there and be like, and just kind of talk about random stuff that teenage girls talk about. However, after a bit, she starts talking about her religion, I guess. And viewers began to think, this is definitely a cult.
Oh my god.
So I'll talk you through some of it from the beginning. Her first blog is called First Blog / Dorkiness Prevails, which is typical quirky girl stuff.
Oh god, quirkiness prevails.
Dorkiness. Which I think is even better.
It's like the adorable, new girl.
I think probably that is how I'd describe her. She has adorkable vibes. The video's literally 1 minute, 30 seconds. It's super short. She seems shy. She has her knee up to her chin the whole time. She puts a scream in 50 seconds in. She says something random, and then there's a scream. Is a joke, but it scared the life out of me, and I've not forgiven her. Then after this, a few videos, and she introduces her friend Daniel, who's usually in the back of her videos, and they clearly have some sort of relationship that's budding on its way. And she's obsessed with cuddly toys.
Oh, I don't like that.
That's just she has a puppet cuddly toy that comes into the videos a lot, a little monkey.
Oh.
Yeah, so Daniel's there. He's mostly in the background. He has his own channel.
Okay.
This is where things get a bit suspicious. So there's hints that she's in a cult. So she's homeschooled, which is fine, but because of her parents' religion, that's the information you get. Then in the background of her videos, her room's like a typical teenage room, but then there's a 3-pronged candle with a picture over the candle.
Oh.
And in one video, Daniel goes to light the candles, and she stops him. So people were thinking it was some sort of ceremonial thing with the candles. And also very odd decor, because the rest of it's just this typical teenage girl's room, and then a weird candle. And then there's a video called Me, Religion and Daniel, and she talks about a religious camp she goes to each year. And it makes Daniel uncomfortable, and he doesn't want to go. And then she eventually reveals that she's been chosen for the ceremony.
Oh no.
Yeah. And then in the video called The Ceremony is Tomorrow, she says she's been receiving shots once a week that leave her not feeling well. And they've put her on a diet, and she has to take pills.
What?
So all of this is cult
Did she say
stuff.
what shots she was taking?
Nope. Just shots.
Oh my god.
But then apparently, after a bit, she's wearing a bandage around her arm, and people think they're taking blood. There's a massive forum at the time. People are writing stuff. They've got their theories. They don't know what's happening. But from the start, people are questioning whether this is real. Mainly because of Daniel's channel. So he'll respond to stuff she said on her channel, and then they'll have arguments and film it. And everyone thought,
so weird.
That doesn't seem quite right. Yeah, why would you film that? And also, the lighting was good, which this is an old YouTube video filmed on a webcam, and the lighting's really good on it.
Suspicious.
And there's inconsistencies in the videos. And the major one, well, there's two. The fan forum that everyone's using was created before the YouTube channel's first video.
Right, that is so suspicious. So obviously it's Daniel.
Well, and there's so bear in mind these are two teenagers, supposedly. The Lonely Girl 15 name had been
trademarked. Or
trademarked. It had been trademarked, I think, again before it started, which teenagers generally, unless you're very savvy, don't think about trademarking.
Before you've even set up your, anything.
Exactly. So eventually it's revealed to be a hoax. But it's interesting what kind of hoax
it is. Yeah, what were they doing it for? What was the reasoning?
So Bree is actually played by an actor called Jessica Rose. And so it's revealed later that it's all fictional, and it's created by 3 men.
What?
One was a filmmaker, one was a dropout doctor who became a filmmaker, and one was a former attorney.
What?
So a bit weird.
What?
But so the former doctor or doctor student was fascinated by the idea of YouTube and the fact that you couldn't tell what was real and what was fake.
Right.
Which is quite
No, it's
interesting,
really interesting,
especially
yeah,
now.
Definitely.
And he was then thinking, basically, what if we created a YouTuber, essentially, and made it a bit freaky? She's in a cult. What would happen? Which is a fun idea, I think.
I love that idea. Like, especially, it's got like a Blair Witch vibe as well.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's like. Eventually it turns into sort of a TV show on YouTube, and I don't think it's super good then. But if someone did it now with more money and in a better way, maybe with better storytelling and more believable,
you could fully,
I would fall into that so easily.
Yeah.
I think that would be so interesting to see, because there's the element of like, is this person in danger? Are they not? I think that's interesting. So eventually, like I said, it went on to be a TV show on YouTube. Kind of the first of its kind, I think, and it just becomes bizarre. Eventually, Lonely Girl dies.
Oh.
Bree dies, yeah, right, stuff the cult's doing. Supposedly dies, anyway. Other characters get introduced. Her cult is called the Order or something. No. Yeah, she's eventually killed off. But then, 2016, everything finishes like 2008 or something. But in 2016, on the 10th anniversary of the first video, the channel posts a video called "What Happened to Lonely Girl 15" with Bree herself, and it's just sort of played off as a propaganda video for the cult.
Oh,
and she didn't die.
Oh,
yeah. So it sort of felt like it was leading on to a new version of it and a new series, but then it never happened. I guess it didn't get the response it used to get back in the day.
Yeah, there was much more on YouTube in 2016.
Exactly. Like, I think back in the day this was getting good numbers, but good numbers back then were like 100,000 views, 1 million at most. Whereas in 2016,
that was quite regular for like
people are getting millions and millions of views. So maybe it wasn't doing as well. Maybe by 2016, the people who were interested in 2006 didn't really care anymore, which is fair. They've probably all grown up. But yeah, it ends with that. It's quite weird and culty. And yeah, the revival didn't work, and that's the end of Lonely Girl 16. But I just find that interesting.
Yeah, it's so interesting because they had a good premise. Like, I feel like... Also, it's a weird group of people that decided to do it. So I could, like, drop out medical student, an old attorney. Yeah. Like, they're like high profession jobs. So they were all like, oh yeah, this is what... But it's it's that Blair Witch thing. And apparently, Blair Witch only got the kind of cult thing around it because they wouldn't show it in certain films, in certain places. And it was released on it was like, it wasn't, I don't know if it was released on the internet because it was quite early in those days, but I think there was they made up a whole legend around it. They made up the thing that they found this tape in the woods. I think that's so clever when you create a mythology around a
similar
TV
thing
show
happened
or like
a
story.
A similar thing happened that's kind of like a mesh of Blair Witch and Lonely Girl 15, which was, I can't remember the name of it, but it was another YouTube thing that was basically the origins of Slender Man.
Okay.
I wish I remember the name, but that's really where that started, and that these teens were doing like videos, and occasionally you would see Slender Man in them.
I don't like that.
And I know, because even though you know that's not real, people are filming it, making it up. There is a part of you that's like, but what if it was real? What if these teens were just filmed? And it's the same with the cult thing. Like, what if it was real and this teenager's stuck in this weird cult and we know about it?
What can you do? Yeah, it changes.
Yeah, there's something fun about that. And I kind of wish they would bring it back onto YouTube. And maybe they have, and I'm not aware of it. But I think that's a really interesting idea. And I would like to see more of it. Come on, YouTube. Give us variety. Give us more scary stuff. But yeah, that's our thoughts on YouTube for this week.
Yeah, it's been a long one, so thank you for sticking with us if you're still here at the end.
Yeah. If you are, thank you. If you're not, understandable.
We completely get it.
That's fair. listen to us on like 3 times speed. That's okay.
Yeah, I don't listen to podcasts unless it's like 2 times speed.
Who does? If you're listening to it on normal speed, how do you have the time?
And then you feel like you've accomplished something because you've gone through it quicker than it said you would have.
Exactly. I think that is an accomplishment. But yeah, if you've listened this week,
thank you.
Let us know.
Please let us know. We'd love to hear thoughts. We'd love to hear things that you might be interested in listening to us ramble about.
Oh yeah. Please give us suggestions for videos, pop culture moments you like. You can find us on all the main social medias.
Yes, we are in, and the links will be in the episode description. Oh, and follow us on TikTok.
Yeah, for some quality content on TikTok. Just live it up. So yeah,
they take so long to make.
Long, guys.
Please give them
honestly,
some love.
That's been the hardest part of this podcast.
It really has.
So please,
TikToks.
I've never felt on the verge of so much anger in my life. I wanted to smash stuff. I wanted to throw chairs. I was so angry. So yeah, we're chilled people. Thanks for listening. Come again next week when we'll talk about more pop culture shenanigans of the week. And pray that Annabelle doesn't kill us before we get to do our next
my
one.
god, yeah, we'll do an Annabelle update.
It'll probably be she hasn't visited us, but just in case. If this is
she
the last,
any of you in their sleep,
let us know.
In your sleep, if you dream about Annabelle,
please let us know. Maybe this is a haunted podcast. Imagine.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We just turn into a.
So
thank you for listening.
Yeah. Goodbye. Have a lovely week.
Have a lovely week.
Hope everything goes well. Manifest good things. This has been Culture Hang, our 3rd episode.
Peace out.
Peace out.